Hello, dear students. We are back at Wild Rose Farm for another tour of Ms. Kern's farm. Today, we're going to learn about honeybees. We are going to join Farmer Eric as he looks at his beehive and sees how it's doing. He's got his hive stacked very tall. It looks to me like he is getting ready to make some smoke.
Hi there. We're going to tuck into the beehive. We're going to smoke them first, just so that they
Are you filling that with?
settle down just with leaves and pine cones and stuff.
Oh.
And they'll think that there's a fire and they'll all go get a stomach full of honey and be much happier.
Now you don't wear the big bee hat and the suit or anything? Are your bees pretty tame?
No, they're like bees like everybody else's bees. I generally don't wear any protective gear.
Well, I brought a little pocket full of this drawing salve, just in case I get stung. It's a little goop that I can stick on a bee sting that will draw out the poison.
What's it called?
It's called drawing salve, or Prid.
Wow.
Mrs. Kern has joined us.
Hi there, Boreal Sun children. Glad you're here.
Okay, let's see. Adding some smoke. I see the bees flying around.
You can get pretty close.
Yeah. Oh, I hear them buzzing right in my ear. They are checking me out. I feel bees on my head.
Another entrance right there. Need some drier stuff to put in there? Need some drier stuff to put in there. Stay put.
We get a little smoke in the entrance. Middle door.
You want to tell them why the smoke, what you do, what the smoke does to them?
So the smoke, they think that there's maybe there's a fire and they're getting ready to leave the hive, possibly, and they'll all go get a big tongue belly full of honey,
Oh.
and that just keeps them busy with something else. So Amanda, you're standing right in their flyway.
Oh.
So I would either stand over there or over here,
Yeah, I'll go
one or
over
the
there.
other. Might get a better picture over here,
Oh,
because then I'll
go
be
over
in
there.
the sun. But like when they fly out, they're pretty much going that way.
Ah.
So they're used to there not being anything there.
Then I
Remember
won't
the
stand
bee
there.
flower in the garden? The
Oh,
blue
yeah.
Bee flower? That's
Yeah,
what a lot
so
of these guys are going
That's
today.
we've got actually a bee line to the bee
Bee line to
flowers
the
if
bee
they go that way.
Look at all of them
Oh my
run
gosh.
down.
I'm gonna try and get up a little bit closer and see all those bees.
Alright, let's see what's in here.
Look at
Those top boxes are just
See, in the bottom boxes, they lay all their eggs. The queen, she hangs out a lot in those bottom lower boxes. Those are called the brood boxes.
Oh, okay.
And it's a darker comb, and if you look into those, you'll see little eggs and larvae, at
Wow.
different stages. And then at one point they cap it, and when they cap it, then the larva will slowly develop, and then it will hatch out. And once hatching out, before it comes out, they'll actually feed the worker bees feed the larva until they emerge as a little bee.
Wow, and they're capping it with beeswax, aren't they?
Yeah. And then those upper boxes are those are the supers. They're called the honey supers, and they are more for that's where they'll store the honey. Down the lower ones, they do the brood. They raise their young, and they put pollen. They pack pollen into some of those, and then up above, they put most of the honey and the nectar.
And every hive organizes it the same way, huh?
Well, kind of, sometimes more. The core is the brood, and they'll put honey on the outside, depending on
okay.
how many boxes are in there.
Yeah.
But see, and they stick these things together with propolis. That's why they stick a little bit together. But see, that's
Oh, look at that.
that's a comb that they haven't put anything into yet. It's just they built it up
Okay.
with the wax.
So
This is what they build. They build on this foundation. It's kind of like a hard plastic,
okay.
and then they build up all of this perfectly symmetrical hexagons.
So like this is the form that is the plastic man-made thing, and then they built up this part.
Yeah, and they will just build comb without this foundation, this piece.
They do it
Like
so
here.
perfectly.
Here's one where they've done that, and they do it just perfectly.
Oh,
look
look,
at
at that. They did that all by themselves.
Isn't that cool?
Wow,
Here,
that's
I'll put
beautiful.
this down. So there's nothing in here yet. They really haven't put anything.
No,
in.
that was the empty ones. And they're eating it out of, there was a lot more on here
There was.
last week.
Uh-oh. Maybe a
So
good
you
time
should
to harvest
get a
them,
look
huh?
over there. You can just go right on over there and look down, and it's kind of cool to see.
Here I come.
So
I
you can
watch them
see
step.
the bees they're fairly busy with the other stuff. There's some comb over on this far side that they made. Yeah. We'll try to get a little honeycomb out of there.
They really haven't really put any in here yet, have they?
Well, that was about half full. They've eaten it.
Ooh. So do you
Really?
want to harvest a bit before it gets too cold, or
Yeah.
Ooh, look at them on there?
So you can see that shiny stuff in there. I don't know if you can see that. That's the honey. And they'll put caps over it. And when you get beeswax, like from candles, beeswax candles and things like that, it's all this wax. So especially, we just take the caps off and then use that for beeswax, and then leave this shape like this, so that next year they can just go right back in
But if you
and not
if
have
you,
to build it.
If you took this, what they've built, and melted it down, that would be beeswax?
Yes, that's exactly right. But we leave that because then they don't have to spend all that time building it up next year,
Yeah.
and they just go right into it and move right in with their
Wow.
brood or their nectar gathering. Can you see the shine in there? That's honey in there. It's not much. They're
I
just
don't know if
starting.
it's- I don't know if it's picking up on the
And look at, I
camera,
think
but
these guys
I
are
can see
eating
it.
it.
Oh my gosh.
See that, Eric? They're eating
Yeah,
it.
that's what the smoke does. They go and they're
Oh,
all getting their stomach full of honey, so they're very busy doing something
They're
else
not paying
besides. They're not
attention.
so concerned about us tearing their hive apart at the moment.
And these coming in are probably ones that have been out and coming back. They're foraging and they're coming back, and they're kind of coming back to a hive that's a bit apart right now.
Yeah, you can see how alive this air is with bees. They're just everywhere. Oh boy. Wow.
So that's all capped honey.
Looks like over there it's not so. Oh my gosh, look at them.
I'm always looking for the queen. Very unlikely she'd be on this outside edge of the hive, away from the brood.
Are these mostly the worker bees then?
Oh, they're all worker bees here. I don't see any drones in that bunch.
So there's three kinds of bees, right? There's the queen bee,
Yeah.
the drones, who are all the male bees, and then all the females that are not the queen are the worker bees that go out and collect the nectar and pollen. And these are all those worker bees. But every bee is a worker. Every bee has a job to do. Oh goodness, look at that one. So that one's probably got a lot of honey because it has so much capped, right?
Yeah, that's all honey.
Yeah.
Gonna stick your finger in there?
Lycan got to come with me on this expedition.
You're gonna just break a little bit right there.
Here, I'll get that.
What's that?
Break the real thing out.
What's that?
Sticky though, right?
And yes, it's
Right.
quite sticky.
I'm gonna get a big chunk of comb out here.
For
I'm
you?
eating a correctly good
Look at
bread.
he's
Boy.
opened up. Eating it. You got some comb in there? There's some comb in there.
All right, so here we go.
Whoa, that is
Oh
big
boy.
comb.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
See now that
It's
comb,
dripping.
that's not any foundation that they had. They made that whole thing. There was no plastic bottom to
I'm just
it.
gonna shake the bees off.
I'm not gonna want to go off there. I don't think I'd want to go off there either. There's a bunch on the backside.
There's still a bunch under in there. Yeah.
You kind of hate to. It takes that one bee's entire life to make 1 tablespoon of honey.
Whoa.
Its entire life. Actually, I don't think it's a tablespoon. I think it's 1 teaspoon.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
look at that.
So that honey that drips on your counter, you know,
Ah,
you gotta realize you gotta lick that right up and appreciate it because it's really the life of a bee.
yeah, wow.
You want to taste some, Lycan?
No,
You don't want to taste that? I'm gonna give your mom some of that. I'll taste that.
Woo! Right in my ear.
it's swarming with bees.
Oh my gosh. That was close call. It got under my hair and like into my ear. Okay.
It's kind of in the flyway.
Oh yeah, maybe I'll get it over here.
I'm just gonna look, see if I can't find some bruise for you.
All right, I'm gonna have a little. Here, Lycan, you wanna film me taking a little bite of this honey?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's
Okay.
see. So what do I just? Oh,
Just dig in there.
just felt a bee up my sleeve. All right. Do you eat the comb too?
You can chew on the comb. It's like wax gum. Honey gum.
I'm just gonna
Ooh, look at that
stick
one.
my finger in there and.
Oh, that's the brood.
Whoops! Lycan's got a bee on him. All right.
Here.
So I got stung a
So
little.
now scratch that out.
Well, I
Scratch-
wanna-
Don't squeeze it.
Oh, could I show it first in the video?
Yeah.
I've got
And
a
if we're
tiny
getting
little stinger that came off in my finger
See it there?
Okay.
because I got
Go away.
stung
You're
a
gonna
little.
get stung.
Best
These guys are
thing-
mad.
The best
Go.
thing to do is
Go.
to not
Don't
squeeze
squeeze
it
it.
out. Just
You want to scratch it off.
scratch it off. Mm-hmm.
And it
There you
doesn't.
go.
It didn't penetrate in, but that
No.
is. So yeah, that is actually. That is the whole thing. Yeah.
They like you.
So
they
just walk away.
birds.
That is what's going to make them want to sting even more. The smell of that. Once they start stinging, then we get stung.
Okay, so I got that stinger off.
Okay, let's go back and look at the hive a minute.
Okay.
You got a brood there we can look at? One of the brood?
No. There's
Oh, look at that, honey.
all honey. I'm
That
gonna
is
put these guys
delicious.
back together.
Golden honey from the flowers. All the work they do. So you're putting it back in. Mhm. Those are the worker bees. Look at them. They are working away. Let's get a close up of those workers. Busy as a bee. Ever heard that expression? Busy as a bee. This guy's really busy. They're so busy they don't even notice us.
Look, there's a wasp on there too, trying
Although
to
once-
sneak in.
The interesting thing is when one of them stings, he puts out a like a pheromone, a scent that tells the other bees that they want to sting that same place that the other one stung. So sometimes if you get stung while you're handling the hive and all of a sudden a lot of the bees will kind of attack
Or
that
if you
one same
accidentally
spot.
crush one.
Or if you accidentally crush one, they kind of do that too. It's kind of exciting. They have all sorts of ways that they protect the hive, and that's one of them. And so every couple weeks, Eric comes out here and checks the hive, puts on a new box maybe if they look like they're bringing a lot of nectar in, a lot of pollen out there, put on a new box. And they climb up into it and start putting more honey into it. See, these lower the boxes he's putting on now don't have as much honey in them. Most of the honey's down in that second box. But if it's a big nectar flow, like when the fireweed's blooming, you try to put as much on there so that the bees don't swarm and fly away because they don't have enough room. If they don't have enough room, they'll fly. Sometimes we've come out here and we've seen huge balls of bees up in the trees because they've swarmed. They didn't have enough room in their hive, and so or they got too hot and they swarmed away. There you go, Miss Edwards. You're going to try it now.
Oh boy. Okay. The lichen and I both got a little sting, but I got some of that salve on us real quick. Got that
Did ya?
stinger out of lichen.
Or did he get stung?
He got
too?
stung right by his ear.
Oh, did he?
Oh my gosh! The comb just kind of falls apart.
Oh, not good.
Okay. Thanks, bees.
Thank you. Oh, this is so good. Now you'd call this like a wildflower honey, right? Because it's has so many different flowers that it's getting.
Yeah, where it
pollen from.
comes from fireweed and all the flowers in the farm.
A lot of it's coming from that beef flower now. I'm going to look one more time at the hive here. Watch these guys. Sometimes if on their legs you can see pollen packing onto their little legs. They don't have a backpack to carry that pollen from the flowers, so they pack it onto their legs tight and they fly it to the hive that way, and then they scrape it off their legs, pack it into the comb, and there they have it. Pretty handy. You could pack all your stuff onto your legs and you have to wear a backpack. Okay, nice job. Thanks, bees. And there you go, Miss Edwards.
Thank you so much. What a great experience. I've never gotten to be part of a honey gathering before.
Oh.
I even got an authentic little bee sting and everything.
Okay.
I haven't been stung yet this year.
Wow.
Yay. Me either.
So
Do they know the difference between you and me? They know that I'm
they
a
may.
stranger.
it could be. Could be they're used to me.
Okay, well, stay tuned for the next adventure.